Welcome to Deep Cuff Channel. Time is up. The Ukrainian army is about to perform its last tango. Russian army began to flee from the front. Vladimir Putin is very angry with his soldiers. Approaching cold will change the strategies of both countries. Russian missile stocks are about to run out. Ukrainian army has achieved an important system that it produces locally and nationally. Explosion sounds are heard from the port of Sevastopol, which is located on the Crimean Peninsula and is of critical importance for Russia. Has the Ukrainian army started to seize Crimea? Officials in the Kremlin are unhappy. General Sergei Surovikin ordered his troops to attack immediately. Ukrainian army continues to add to its gains on the front every day. Statements made by the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine summarize the losses of the Russian army. According to this statement, Russia lost 340 soldiers, 2 tanks, 2 armored combat vehicles, 2 artillery systems, and 2 unmanned aerial vehicles in the last 24 hours. These losses of the Russian army were also confirmed by the Ukrainian army. While the victory of the Ukrainian army continues, Ukrainian Defense Minister Alexei Reznikov made important statements. Reznikov reported that a total of 7 Ukrainian-made unmanned aerial vehicles were accepted into the army inventory last month. Reznikov emphasized that these systems were produced domestically and nationally by the Ukrainian army. This military production capacity of the Ukrainian army during the war is quite good. Explosions at Russian military bases, such as Engels 2, were allegedly caused by attacks by Ukrainian drones. Reznikov's statements partially prove the accuracy of these claims. While Reznikov was making a statement, Russia launched massive attacks against the Ukrainian army. Kherson, the largest city in the southern region, was heavily attacked by the Russians. Allegedly, the Russians carried out a massive missile attack targeting both Kherson and Mykolaiv regions at night, using S-300 systems. Russian artillery, which stepped in after this missile attack, tried to weaken the power of the Ukrainian army by targeting a total of 15 settlements. Especially the Osakorivka, Solotabalka, and Kachkarivka regions were heavily attacked by the Russians. However, the Ukrainian air defense managed to repel the vast majority of attacks. Also, nearly a month after the withdrawal of Russian troops from Kherson, Ukrainian forces are seeing explosive surprises left behind. When Russia announced that it would withdraw its forces from Kherson, Ukrainian officials worried that the plan could set a trap for Ukrainian soldiers. General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces shared a Facebook post Wednesday showing several photos of Ukrainian soldiers allegedly uncovering Russian explosives buried in Kherson. According to the post, mining units of the State Special Transport Service of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine are looking for and destroying the Russian explosives remaining after their withdrawal. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian army realized that Russia was concentrated in the southern region and quickly mobilized its troops in the Bakhmut region. It is stated that the attacks of the Ukrainian army are tried to be prevented by the soldiers of the Russian Wagner Group. Although the Ukrainian army is said to have made gains in the city of Bakhmut, it was noted that the situation at the front was largely stable. Meanwhile, explosions were heard from Russia's strategic port of Sevastopol on the Crimean Peninsula. In a statement made by the Ukrainian Army General Staff, it was stated that loud explosions occurred in the strategically important port of Sevastopol, which hosts Russia's Black Sea Fleet in Moscow. It is also among the news that the attacks on Sevastopol were carried out with unmanned aerial vehicles. Media reported that at 6:50 local time, a powerful explosion was heard in the central part of Sevastopol. A few seconds before that, a sound similar to the launch of a rocket was heard. So-called mayor of Sevastopol, Mikhailo Razvazov, claimed that a ship belonging to the Black Sea Fleet shot down a drone over the sea in the morning. Military sources in the region say that the Russian Black Sea Fleet is rapidly fleeing the region. After this attack, Russian President Vladimir Putin became very angry with his troops. Because the Crimean Peninsula is of critical importance for Russia, Russia has deployed most of its air defense systems in this region. At the same time, frigates in the region were tasked with protecting the airspace. However, at the point we have reached, we see that Russia cannot protect the peninsula. We are currently trying to confirm news from the area. While these attacks were continuing, important allegations were made about the Donbass region. Head of the Luhansk Oblast Military Administration, Serhiy Haidai, announced that the Ukrainian armed forces is advancing on the Svarov-Crimea front and that good news may come from the Luhansk region soon. However, Haidai warned that progress on the front was slow, especially due to seasonal conditions, and a quick win should not be expected. Haidai also agrees with the statement that this winter will be crucial to solving the problem on the Luhansk front. Military analysts believe that by the end of winter, the armed forces of Ukraine could reach the border of the region, as it did before February 24th. In the meantime, very important statements came from the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley, stated that Russia's attacks on Ukrainian infrastructure have benefited more than harmed the Ukrainian military, because the Ukrainians strengthened their resistance against these Russian attacks as a unit. Milley said that now the situation on land has stabilized and things will slow down a bit with the onset of winter. Milley recalled that the Ukrainian defenders repulsed an enemy attack in the Kiev area, and then repulsed the Russians from Kharkiv and Kherson. Milley also described Russia's missile attacks as absolutely unacceptable. According to the admiral, the attacks also strengthen the determination of the countries that support Ukraine. Milley did not give a time frame for the war in Ukraine, but both said their countries would support Ukraine as long as needed. According to Radakin, Russia made a catastrophic mistake because the attack on Ukraine not only strengthened the Ukrainian resistance, but also caused an extraordinary reaction from countries around the world. In this context, the head of the Bundestag Defense Committee, Marie-Agnes Strack-Zimmermann, confirmed that the USA will support the transport of the Leopard 2 tanks, which had previously been covered in the media, to Ukraine by Germany. This was confirmed in all the talks at the State Department, Congress, and the Senate during my visit to Washington. Our partners expect Germany to fulfill its obligations. We must not leave Ukraine alone. They need tanks, Strack said. It was noted that Rheinmetall and Krauss-Maffei Wegmann were able to supply 80 units from German manufacturer stocks in the shortest time possible. An additional 30 units will be used to represent enemy tanks at the Combat Training Center of the Bundeswehr. Previous day, Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba urged Germany to show its leadership and eventually deliver Leopard 2 tanks, Patriot systems, and Marder BMPs to Ukraine. These developments whet the appetite of the Ukrainian army. Meanwhile, Russia continues its attempts to improve its economy. Russian state arms dealer Rosaboronexport has announced that it will show the Karakordy and Sarcer missile corvettes at the Vietnam Defense 2022 Arms Show in Hanoi this week. Ships themselves do not travel to Vietnam, but scale models and video presentations will be made available to interested parties. Company will also showcase a wide range of missile, artillery, and torpedo weapons for ships and submarines, as well as air defense assets, communications, sonar, underwater target designation sensors, and anti-sabotage capabilities. International Arms Trade Fair will start on Thursday and will run through the weekend. Rosaboronexport is also showcasing a number of aircraft, some of which will be sent to the show. These will include the Sukhoi Su-57, an export model of the Kremlin's fifth-generation multi-role stealth fighter. We will continue to monitor the world and especially Ukraine. We'll see what happens in the next few days. We have reached the end of another video. You can support us by liking the video. You can easily follow new videos by subscribing. I wish you all a war-free day. See you.